Right, so I don't know whether this is a good idea or a bad idea, but I have bought myself a Peugeot Moped, a 50cc Looxor. Now, it's currently 2024, and this is a 2002 model, or registered in 2002 anyway. But what's surprising about it, if anything surprising about it, is the incredibly low mileage it's got on it. If I put the key in here, you should hopefully see that it comes up with 537 miles, and that is the total mileage, that's not the trip. There's the trip. From what I can make out, it hasn't been MOT'd, so therefore it never really made it to its third year on the road. And the previous owner actually suggested that when he bought it, it only had 80 miles on it, and he in fact put the extra mileage on just driving around the large industrial complex that he was part of. Clues that it might be genuine, the mileage as well, are things like the tyres, as the tyres have got no wear on them whatsoever, but yet at the same time, I don't know if you can see that, but they're heavily degraded in terms of cracking. So they're unused old tyres. So the next question is, how well does it start? Well, I don't know really, because I've only really started it the once. So it's been sat here for 5 days. So let's see how well she starts, eh? Here we go. Pull the lever, haven't you? So that'll be it running on choke. There's a very definite two-stroke smell to it. It's got a catalyser on it, which it's got to be interesting considering that it's a two-stroke and it's carburettor. There we go. And after that you just that's it basically, it's as simple as it gets. It's got a weird electronic seat release on it. Not a lot really under here. This is the oil tank, two-stroke, and this is the fuel, lead free, and then here is your sort of like storage space really for your helmet and what have you, and really that's about it, all to say. You've got your indicators obviously, headlights high and low, a horn, lights on and off. The lights are like a direct system. You can see when you have it up, it goes brighter, and then it goes dull when it's on tick over. Not a lot else to say. I mean, you've got your batteries under here. The motor obviously sits in here. This is the air intake, it's an air-cooled engine. Around this side you can see the carburettor with its electronic or electric choke on it, and that seems to be working fine. The transmission is a belt drive system. You can see there's a bit of corrosion getting into it, that might have to all be sorted out. I've tested with kickstart, that works fine. So basically, once all the documentation's through on it, I've got the new tyres on and it's MOT'd and everything, it's going to be just a question of using this to go to work every day, which is about a mile each way, and it stopped working. I wasn't sure whether the fuel gauge is working right. I suppose I should put some fuel in and see if it does work, eh? That might be a good little test to do. Okay, so I've just put about 4 litres of fuel in there. But it didn't look to be, it looked like it had more fuel in than 0 before, so I'm a bit suspicious. But here we go. And it's showing it's still showing 0, so that might be something I need to have a look at. Okay, so I was preparing the Peugeot for its MOT and then realised I didn't have any mirrors. So I went to find some mirrors because I've got loads lying around and found that they didn't fit. And the reason is because they require these really long threaded fittings. And I thought it was going to be a problem. But I managed to find this set on the internet for just 13 quid for the pair. So I'm hoping they'll be okay. I've got the E markings on and what have you, so all should be happy. Well, that turned out to be quite a painless job. Yeah, nothing wrong with them. Okay, I think maybe a couple of months have passed and it's on the road. Passed its MOTs with no problem. And it's bobbing around at its 30 mile an hour, and I've been running it on some country lanes, and it's quite relaxing and it's okay, and you just glide along. Roads like this, it's easy for overtaking to occur, so you're not holding anybody up. Probably put about 70 mile on it, I think. Fuel gauge is still not working, need to sort that out, but might do that when I get home. Now that these two little test runs have proven successful. It's got quite good pickup up to about 25 mile an hour, and then obviously it just gradually gets up to its top speed, which is about 30 mile an hour. Although maybe a little less. It is supposed to do 28, and I suppose that's a reasonable thing to say what it does on a totally flat, benign road. It does handle very well. It handles rough potholes quite good and what have you. Rough road surfaces. Obviously these big tyres. It's got fork suspension, and it's doing rather well. So that's it. It's on the road. It's running, and just need to sort out why that speedo's that fuel gauge is not behaving itself. Okay, so I was working on this yesterday, and I discovered that the signal from the float sensor came in there, comes through here, goes across here, and basically ends up in this transistor here. And the signal was getting through all that distance. And then I kind of looked at it and went, you know what, it's working, the speedo's working, the fuel gauge I can probably live without. But then I was looking at some circuits later on to do a DIY fuel gauge, one that would work separate to this integrated system. And it showed you a version that had an integrator and a Zener voltage reference. And then when I looked at the photographs, I thought, hang on a minute, there they are. So there's your comparator, an LM358, and there's your Zener. And next to the Zener, there's a capacitor. So the first thing I want to try is replacing that capacitor, just in case it's affecting the Zener. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to start looking at the voltages on that Zener. Okay, the trouble with the fuel gauge took a bit of resolving. I found out that all the circuits in there, the Zeners and the comparators and everything was working fine. And I could trace the signal all the way through to the chip that actually runs the display. And the input on the pin on the chip was working perfectly. Now, it could have been some of the support circuitry, but I just worked on the assumption that the chip was fried, and I didn't want to play around too much because I was very concerned about damaging the speedo. So basically I've decided to put a separate fuel gauge on it. So like I said, there was a 0 to 5 volts signal going into the chip. So what I've done is I've pulled that voltage off and put it into a voltage sensor, digital voltage sensor. So now when I put my key in, there we go, I now have a fuel gauge over here, and I've tested it and it's working fine. Now as far as the electronics in the tank is concerned, it's exactly standard. It's only when the signal went into the chip that I'm pulling the voltage off, so it should be totally safe. So that's it. That's the bike working fully. Bit annoying that the built-in fuel gauge is not working, but I think it could have been very expensive to try and source a spare part, and of course it would have affected the mileage and everything anyway. So I think this solution works quite well. So that's it. All done.